Skeletons from IFW Global's closet. Is it a legitimate detective agency? And what scandal has Alana Maurushat created? In an age of widespread fraud, thanks to innovative technologies and easy online access to clients from all over the world, it is already difficult to tell who is an enemy and who is a friend. It is simple to find so-called double agents who claim to protect poor investors from scammers. However, they are no better than companies that profit from the misery of people who are unaware of the dark side of financial markets. The market is becoming increasingly saturated with pseudo-detective agencies. They are nearly as numerous as extortionists operating under the guise of brokerage firms. Such agencies impose their services on investors who have already fallen victim to fraudulent schemes. Such investigators have a higher chance of attracting clients than false intermediaries. Affected players are often depressed and vulnerable. This makes them easy targets for another illegal scheme, despite the obvious disadvantages. Criminals take advantage of their clients' fragile psychological state and gladly finish them off, stealing not only their last money but also funds borrowed from relatives and banks. And, if global regulators are constantly monitoring brokers and are aware of their tricks, the situation with private investigators is more complicated. In this case, the control algorithm selection is much poorer, so the self-proclaimed top judges bestow their accolades without soliciting or considering other, more authoritative and competent opinions. Another outrageous trend has emerged in this field. It consists in the indiscriminate blackmailing of competitors and brokers, which violates all moral principles. To elaborate, such illegal investigation firms frequently publish reviews or exposés about brokers or other investigators, slandering their reputations. It is critical to avoid jumping to conclusions and instead examine the underlying causes of the situation. Is it truly done for the sake of justice? Are the companies chosen accurately and with good intentions in order to ensure justice? It is not that simple here. Behind the scenes of such performances, both seasoned traders and industry experts have long claimed that these investigations are ordered with the intention of making huge profit. IFW Global scam reviews. So, how does it work? Detectives solve their own cases and boast about their professionalism. People take their word for it, listen carefully, and accept what they read at face value. What does reality look like? In fact, there are two explanations for why such reviews are posted on portals or forums where investigators publish exposés. The first reason is a competitor's request to eliminate a successful rival. A few articles with far-fetched and drawn-out violations, scattered across various internet resources and cloned thousands of times, gain global traction and become critical for the inexperienced reader. They rely on allegedly authoritative sources, and the competitor is eliminated quickly and easily. As a result, traders lose one of the few competent broker representatives and are forced to fight financial swindlers on their own. The second explanation can be either a follow-up of the first one or the initiative of the detective agency itself in an attempt to make some easy money. In this case, the false investigators publish additional defamatory articles in order to continue blackmailing the attack victim. They may also pre-warn the opponent in order to obtain money before publishing. This is entirely dependent on their individual behavioral strategies. If the counterparty wants to stay afloat, they must pay the amount demanded by detectives so that the article is either not published, removed, or retracted. It all depends on how quickly the scapegoat realizes what is going on. As you can see, it is a complex problem, and identifying the perpetrators in such situations is extremely difficult. Nevertheless, it is not impossible. This article will focus on the exposure of IFW Global investigators, specifically the so-called financial expert Alana Maurushat. This company and individual have been repeatedly caught attempting to blackmail victims of their slanderous accusations. Despite their conspiracy, inconvenient but accurate details about their extortion schemes have surfaced on the internet. This is largely due to whistleblowers' tendency to go too far. They target such brokers, whose reputation is nearly impossible to tarnish thanks to a large and stable client base, as well as legislative support from international control bodies. As a result of biting off too much, pseudo-detectives are unable to swallow the counterparties, and crumbs are increasingly appearing on the